I turn off the, okay. Can you please can you look in the participant list and let me know when they are coming?
Sure.
Yeah. Because I'm sharing screen, so I may not be able to see. Yeah. Okay. No. Right.
Just give me a moment.
Yeah, sure. Oh.
Yeah, I can see Annie Myers on the Zoom.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So then we just started then if everyone is here. Is Anthony here?
Don't think he's in just yet.
Do you want to start? Let I set up Annie as co-host. Okay, and then we can start. Yeah, I don't need to show video, it's fine. Okay. Yeah.
So am I able to show my screen?
Yes.
Hi Annie, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Good, thank you.
All right. Now everyone is co-host, yeah. Okay, so I give a quick introduction. So I turn off everyone. Good morning, everyone in Vietnam, and good afternoon, everyone in Australia. All right, my name is Đức Phan at RMIT University. I also as founder of Knowledge Bridge Network. So thank you to everyone for joining our webinar number 27 today. We have our lovely two guest speaker with us here. That is Miss Annie Mai, executive of Macquarie Group, and Mr. Joshua Jones from Chartered Accountant Australia and New Zealand. All right. So our programs is 60 minutes sharp because our guest speaker are very busy. So no more delay. So please, everyone, please welcome Mr. Joshua Jones from Chartered Accountant Australia and New Zealand.
Thank you so much, Duke. I'm just going to share my screen. Hopefully this will work. Just give me one moment. All right. So can you all see that okay?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect. No worries at all. Well, hi, everyone. I'd like to thank Duke very much for providing us with the opportunity today to present to you about Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. My name is Josh, and I work in the Careers Engagement team for Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. Here today to discuss with you about what it means to be a CA and how you can become a difference maker. Before I start, I will mention that we do have a Q&A at the end of after Annie has spoken. So please just hold your questions to the end and we will get to them once we've finished talking. So just today on what I'll be presenting on. So I'll first be speaking about who we are at Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand and what we do. I'll speak about the Chartered Accountants program, and then also resources that you can have and you can use to stay in touch with us at Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. I will also mention that if I do speak a little bit too fast or if you struggle to understand me, please let me know, and I'll be very happy to repeat myself. So who are we at Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand? We're a professional body that represent over 131,000 professionals, helping them make a difference in the communities and industries in which they work and live. Being a CA means you're part of several great networks, one of them being Chartered Accountants Worldwide, which represent over 1.8 million CAs in over 190 countries. So too, Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand is the only professional body only professional body within Australia that's part of the Global Accounting Alliance. So as you see on the slide here, this is a collection of 10 countries that set the accounting standards for other countries all around the world to follow. They include the UK, Germany, South Africa, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, the US, and Canada. So what does this tangibly mean? Ultimately, we like to refer to the CA designation as your passport designation, because being a CA member means you have reciprocal membership, so your membership is recognized in those countries that are highlighted in green. So let's say, for example, you have a secondment or you have a employment opportunity in, let's say, Germany or Japan or the US, your CA designation is recognized in those countries. So it provides great global opportunities for you. Some of you might have heard of ACCA, which is another professional body. And I just wanted to bring it up to let you know that with Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand, we have a very strategic alliance with ACCA. The alliance represents more than 900,000 members, and the alliance enables us to have access to co-located offices all around the world. So too, there's transferable membership between ACCA and CA. So you wouldn't need to be if you are an ACCA, for example, and you want to transfer that membership over to a CA, that is possible. And more information about that can be found on our CA website. Furthermore, the strategic alliance ensures that there's a sharing of resources as well as professional insights and also events in which we can join together. On the first slide, I mentioned the notion of being a difference maker, and that's one of the key themes and brands that we have with Chartered Accountants. The Chartered Accountant program is there to provide you with the skills and tools to solve complex business problems and stay relevant in a fast-changing world. We've seen over the last 10, 15 years how drastically technology has influenced all industries, especially the accounting industry. And if we go back even the last couple of years with COVID and how that's really drastically changed everything, that you need to be able to adapt and deal with situations and problems as they arise. And doing the CA program, and the CA program is designed to provide you with those skills and tools to deal with any of those issues that can come before you. Why then can becoming a chartered accountant benefit you? So firstly, you gain a graduate diploma of chartered accounting. So this is an internationally recognized postgraduate qualification, which is a level 8 on the Australian qualifications framework. So it's a level higher than a bachelor's degree. So you get that great internationally recognized extra qualification under your belt. You also gain a lifelong designation through continuous professional development and join a network of like-minded individuals. Excuse me. The CA program as well enables you to develop your business skills, and it's a very in-depth program that provides you with many different knowledge areas and many different subjects, which really enables you to develop your skills and your profession, which enables you to develop as well. Furthermore, as I mentioned in the previous slide, when discussing about the Global Accounting Alliance, you have that ability to work in various countries around the world. So you get those global opportunities too. And I think another really great point, yesterday I was reading an article from the Australian Financial Review, which spoke about how revenue of the Australian accounting firms has increased by, I think it was around 10 to 12%, might even be a bit more. So it shows that there's demand for accountants within Australia, and having the CA really enables you to be in demand. A common question we receive from students when we're discussing with them is, who are chartered accountants and what types of people are they? And a really key point to recognize is that chartered accountants are well-rounded business leaders who strive to make a difference. You've got 4 professionals here. You've got Rebecca Glover, who's the Senior Director at World Vision International, Mark Valerio, who's a partner at PwC, which is one of the large 4 accounting firms, Anna Lee, who's the CEO of Flybuys, and Simon Hardman, who's the Director of Financial Planning and Analysis at Microsoft. So you have 4 professionals in a range of different industries and all able to make a tangible difference. So let's say, for example, you have a desire or liking towards fashion or retail or sport or travel. Doing the CA program and becoming a CA can very much benefit you in your professional journey. I'm now going to speak about how the Chartered Accountants program is structured. In 2021, we launched our new CA program, and with new additions to augment the experience for our members. One of those key new additions is the more flexible timetabling, as subjects are provided on a more frequent basis. Similarly, we've tried to engage in more digital resources and use industry type challenges to really provide our members with that real life experience, so that when they have completed their CA, they're job ready and that they're ready to tackle any situation that may arise. And it's something that we're seeing throughout all the discussions we have with professionals, that digital understanding how to use digital resources is very important moving forward. In order to become a chartered accountant, you need to complete 2 key elements. The first is the academic component, which is where you complete the graduate diploma of chartered accounting, which I mentioned before. This component comprises of 7 core subjects and 2 elective subjects. In order to become a full member, you also need to complete the mentored practical experience. So this is completion of 3 years mentored practical experience, where you're supervised by a CA mentor while in a relevant accounting employment. The slide here shows a subject overview of the different types of courses you complete throughout the CA program. So you've got the 7 core subjects over there, which is the top half of the image, and the 7 electives which you can choose from, but you only need to complete 2. As I discussed earlier, the CA program is providing you with those skills and knowledge to stay relevant. And we've introduced new electives, and just for example, say one of them that we've introduced is called Sustainability for Accountants, to provide our members with that knowledge and with those skills to deal with any issues that occur in the industry. We know that sustainability and tackling climate change is a very much a key thing for all of us moving forward. So with that knowledge, we've realized that our members need to understand how to tackle these particular issues. So it just further reinforces how we're remaining relevant, how our members are constantly updated with real life information and can help them grow. As I've touched on briefly, the mentored practical experience enables you to strengthen your professional judgment and your leadership and teamwork skills, and also develop those essential on-the-job training sort of knowledge and skills. It's a great way to speak with, you have a CA mentor who helps you through the process, and they've gone through the process just as you are going through now. So you can ask them questions, you can get assistance from them, you can really develop and also just expand your network too. So it's a great way and a very key component of the CA program. Whilst completing the CA, you're known as a provisional member, which has several great benefits to it. The first one that I'll mention is access to the CA library, which is a complimentary service. It includes audiobooks and ebooks and audio guides, as well as access to different journals, such as the Harvard Business Review and the Australian Financial Review, as I touched on previously just about the AFR. And it's a great way to stay updated with what's going on in the industry. So too, you get access to LinkedIn Learning, which is a great online database of lectures from many different topics, things such as how to master Excel, how to effectively public speak, even topics such as how to stop overthinking. So you've got those great tools at your disposal as well that can really benefit you. So what does all this information tangibly mean for you currently as a student who's potentially wanting to come to Australia and do the CA program? A great way to stay connected is to become what's called a student affiliate. So this is free membership where you receive up-to-date, you get monthly emails on up-to-date articles and information on what we're doing at CA, on the types of different events and networking opportunities that we have, different career advice and job tips and things like that, and the ability to join a group of like-minded individuals. So for those that want to stay connected, understand what we do at Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand, and to receive that up-to-date information, becoming a student affiliate is one tangible thing that you can do to stay connected. That's it for me for now. We'd love for you to stay in touch. We have all the social media platforms covered, as you can see on the screen there. I'll send my my personal information as well to Duke after. So if anyone wants to stay in touch, please feel free to do so. We're now going to hear from Annie Myers, who's going to speak about her experience through the CA program. So Annie, when you're ready, I'll pass on the virtual mic to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. So hi, everyone. My name is Annie. If you would like to call me by my Vietnamese name, feel free to. So it's Quỳnh Anh. Yeah, so I have been a CA for a couple of years now, pretty recent, I would say. So I graduated my university degree in 2017, and I started my career at PwC. And so I was fortunate to have the support from PwC to actually do and complete my CA program. So that includes having like a lot of support from masterclass and also mentoring as well. So I think the course has changed slightly since I did it. So previously it was 5 subjects, but now I think the course has changed to basically fit in and serve with the demand in the market at the moment. And so although things have changed, I'm sure the course has actually changed for better, so that fits with whatever the market is actually requesting a chartered accountant to be equipped of. What I really enjoy about the program is that the material is actually very, very relevant to what the industry is after. So for instance, when I was doing it, we had a new accounting standards for leases. And so that was actually updated in the studying material. And so that made us really relevant. And I found it particularly useful, especially when coming to auditing a number of clients in that particular year who had to basically reapply the new accounting standards in there. And it has been a great help because, you know, you're going out to the client and you don't have that much time to actually learn about the standards and learning about how the industry works, but having that prerequisite knowledge really, really helped. So after about 3 years, once I have completed the course itself and also the placement program, I'm now officially a chartered accountant, and that had actually led me to a number of new opportunities in the industry as well. So I'm not sure if you guys are looking around, but majority of the time when you see a role that is looking for an accountant, I would say 95% of the time it will actually request someone with a CA or a CA equivalent background. So having that really, just like Josh mentioned just now, it's like a passport to pretty much any industry. And from my back in 2016, it's when I had a really quick internship at one of the investment firms in Vietnam. And it's actually funny that the chief accountant has actually walked up to me and she was like, oh, you should probably consider doing your CA program once you have completed your uni degree, because that would really, really help with anywhere you go, regardless if you're actually going to be working in Vietnam or anywhere overseas. So again, really highly recommended taking on this journey, because it can really open up a lot of opportunities for you, whether you decided to stay in Vietnam or actually commit to work somewhere overseas. So yeah, having said that, it had opened up a lot of doors for me when I was looking for new opportunities in Australia itself. So when I was looking around, majority of the roles has actually had a requirement that it would be good, that you would be a successful candidate if you are a chartered accountant. And similar with the role that I'm doing at Macquarie Group. So a little bit of history, I started at Macquarie Group just over a year ago, so August 2021. So my role in there was to do a lot of reporting for a thing called IBOR Transitions Program in Group Treasury in Macquarie Group. So if you don't know about Macquarie Group, it is a investment banking. So it has a lot of investment products similar to something like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, as someone might be more familiar with, as they are bigger firms in the US. So one of the requirements in there was actually if you have a CA, you would be considered to be more advantageous as compared to other candidates. And so having that prerequisite accounting knowledge has really helped, because right now, although I have moved away from the initial role that I was doing at Macquarie, we do require a lot of understanding and knowledge of accounting and accounting standards, as well as there are extensive requirements in terms of reporting that the regulators do require firms, and also complex firms such as Macquarie Group, where you would imagine that there are probably hundreds of different entities going on. And so we have to do a couple of hundreds of reporting every single month. So the knowledge that I had as a chartered accountant, firstly, really aided with all the work that I've been doing, and also opened up a lot of different doors. So I got a ping from Doug. My job title at the moment, so I am an executive, not executive director. So it's just somewhat equivalent to an assistant manager at the moment. And so I am working in group treasury of Macquarie Group. I think that's about it at the moment for my introductions. If there's any questions from Doug, Josh, Anthony, or anyone on the floor, I'm happy to take on the questions.
Right, thank you, Annie. Maybe before Josh, what is the program? Should we ask Annie now, or should we let Anthony to say something?
We can open up for Q&A if anyone has. Like, I'll just start. Just firstly, Annie, you mentioned about the CA that it really provides and opens those doors for you, provides like great sort of knowledge base and things like that. What other benefits does the CA provide? What other sort of reasons as to why students should potentially take the CA? What are those other benefits that you receive by being a CA member?
Another thing that I forgot to mention is actually the network that we get as a CA member. So there are a lot of networking events, I think externally and also internally. So you actually go get opportunities to go and meet up and just simply build up connections with other CA in the network itself. So this includes even someone who is as junior as I am, or even someone who is senior as a partner. So when you had up on the slide right there, I do recognize Mark Valerio because I had worked with him in PwC. But yeah, it's actually seeing some familiar faces and knowing how high they're up in the hierarchy, it's actually very, very interesting. And yeah, so you get a lot of networking opportunities. You get to speak to people that you don't normally speak to, or like a CFO of a listed firm, for instance. You can't just walk up to them or ping them in LinkedIn, but when they show up in one of the networking events, it is a very, very good opportunity to actually build a network with them there.
Great. And there's another follow-up as well. Just what are the types of skills do you think are important for an accountant to possess today? What are those lucrative skills? You touched on all those different sort of projects that you work on and the different standards that you need to know, and the breadth of knowledge that the CA provides. But now that you're currently working, you're working for Macquarie Group now, what are those lucrative skills that employers look for in accounting students today?
Great questions. So I think with all my experience so far, and having applied to a couple of different roles already, I know that what they're after is actually having that mindset of readiness, willingness to learn, and being very open-minded, but also always have your opinion to a certain states. So that is something that they are definitely looking for. And so I think you kind of practice that a little bit when you're doing your degree as well, because you have the questions that really prompt you to think about problems and think about solutions. So rocking up to someone and giving them your suggested or potential solutions is a whole lot better than actually giving them a problem to solve. So that's one thing. And then another thing is potentially having that teamwork capability, because a lot of the times you will find yourself in situation where you have to work collaboratively with other people as well. So having that ability to harmonize the work and to coordinate and work with everyone as a team, it is definitely something that people look for. So yeah, so willingness to learn and teamwork.
Great. I can see that we've got a question in the chat. So the person asked, how did your CA journey start? You said you did a master in Australia and follow with CA, right?
So I didn't do a master in Australia, so I was fortunate to actually complete a bachelor degree in Australia. And when I started working at PwC, I think CA was something that probably all your peers are taking on as well. So I think of it as a good learning opportunities because you get a lot of support from the firm. And so I was like, why not? It's a really good passport to get exposure to different industries. So I chose to took on the CA while I was working at as an auditor in PwC.
Andy, when were you born in Australia? No.
No, I was born and raised in Vietnam. I can speak very fluent Vietnamese.
In what city were you born?
I was born and raised in Ho Chi Minh City.
Okay. And before Australia, where did you live? Where did you live in Vietnam?
So I was first spent majority of my time, well, I would say all the time in Ho Chi Minh City. So yeah, I left for Australia in 2014.
2014.
So,
Recently.
Yeah, 8 years ago, 2014.
Wow, excellent, right? So do you mind to share how old are you?
No, I'm not. I am 27. I'm 27. So I finished my bachelor degree in 2017, so 3 years. And then I started working at PwC right away since Jan of 2017.
Yeah, okay. There are a question in the chat box for you. Yeah. So,
I think Josh.
oh, sorry. This is they send private to me, so I'm read out to you.
Sure.
What inspired you to pursue an accounting career? In Vietnam, many people say that accounting is quite boring because they have to work with only numbers every day. Thank you for your sharing.
So I've always been very interested in numbers and also the business aspects, the operational business aspect of a normal business. So that was something that I know that I'm very, very interested in. Why accounting? So I guess, firstly, in order to actually understand how business works, you kind of have to get your head around the numbers and actually treatments of certain things. So that really drives a lot of decisions when it comes to business related decision making. So that's kind of why I chose accounting, just because I'm interested in numbers and also interested in operation of it as well. It is boring, really depends on the kind of work that you do. So I know that I had experience as an intern doing bookkeeping jobs, and of course that is probably not the most interesting thing, just because the repetitiveness of the task that you do pretty much every single day. Having said that, I know that there are a lot of different opportunities in relation to accounting field. So as I was working in PwC, I spent about 4.5 years there. However, I was never doing the same role for, I guess, more than 2 years. So I had a lot of exposures to auditing for financial services, and also for probably smaller clients. These includes like customers and industrial products and services. So things like, let's say, I don't know, like Colgate, something that everyone's very familiar to, right? Like we did an audit on one of the clients as well. And then apart from that, there were other opportunities that coming up as I was working in the Big Four. So there's another program called Digital Accelerator. So it kind of allows you to learn about the new tools, things like coding, visualizations, like be a business analytics job. And of course, if you're interested, you can definitely sign up for it. And I did. And so I got exposures to more than just a pure accounting thing, but also visualizing how the numbers work, and also that using that to drive decision making as well. So really depending on where you're working, what kind of opportunities are there relating to the accounting work. Yeah, and that really kind of add to my portfolio and my skill set as well. It has grown drastically over the past couple of years. It's just not that day-to-day bookkeeping, but having something new like BA analytics, coding really spice up your game there. So yeah, it's not a mundane thing.
Thank you, Andy. I let you have a rest. I want to ask Anthony a question. Anthony, are you ready? Yeah. So in Vietnam, ACCA and CPA Australia very, very popular. From my research, you know, I did research about accounting in Vietnam, professional body in Vietnam. A few years ago, I know that there was like, you know, like 10,000 at least are member, ACCA member in Vietnam, and probably more than 1,000 member of CPA Australia, right? So I guess that CA Australia and New Zealand is not yet or do not have a very popular presence in Vietnam. So the question will be, I have two questions. The question one is, you know, if you don't mind, compare yourself, CANZ, with another two professional bodies, ACCA and CPA Australia, right? And then, is there any pathway for those who already learning or already obtained the ACCA and the CPA Australia membership to become a CA ANZ?
No, thank you very much indeed, Dirk. And apologies, please do let me know if my sort of speech isn't coming through properly. I've got very bad reception. And hello, everyone. I'm Anthony. I lead the careers engagement team at Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. So in terms of comparing sort of CA, ANZ and ACCA and CPA, yeah, correct. I'll say our brand isn't as strong in Vietnam. However, we do have strong approaches through our Global Accounting Alliance. That's like a really, great way for us to sort of engage with, have that more global and reciprocal membership. And as Josh mentioned earlier on, we do have that piece with regards to the strategic alliance with the ACCA, which does mean if you are an actual member and you're there, you've got your ACCA qualification, you are a member in good standing, then we do have reciprocal arrangements which allow you to convert your memberships through to the CA program. And we call this our International Pathways program. And the key thing that's required there is you'll come through, and in Australia, what you'll do is just a 3-day course. It runs from a Friday through to a Sunday, and it takes into account that you've got a technical understanding being an ACCA member. It's more around how you go around doing business in Australia, communicating in Australia, so building more on some of those transferable skills. The technical you've got is just more around how to operate in Australia, which therefore allows you to complete that course and convert your membership through into being a CA full member. And as Josh mentioned, that comes with a lot of great value through the broader network to that 1.4 million through the Global Accounting Alliance, which includes things like CPA in America, for instance, is actually part of that Global Accounting Alliance. We have reciprocal membership with them there. When we look at ACCA in our Sydney office, ACCA's office is actually in our building in there. So you can see this close relationship, ability to really work well together on there. So hopefully that helps answer the question. And going to sort of Annie's point earlier on, I know that you did your bachelor's obviously within in Australia, and to the point around that master's pathway program that Josh mentioned, that the CA Masters is another great way through whereby you get to learn. So if I look at where Annie is in Sydney, and we do have a relationship there with Macquarie University to deliver the CA Masters in professional accounting. And what that allows you to do is you're learning technical from a very strong sort of university. But then in terms of that master pathway, you're also gaining that admission through the CA program to taking 2 years into one. And that's like a big piece. And I know, like Dirk, we're having those further discussions at RMIT around our Masters in Professional Accounting program as well. But we're seeing that's a great way in which we can sort of build out that understanding. I hope that on tail.
Thank you, Anthony. Now, I just want to verify there is a question in a chat directly to me. Does the I did not own a bachelor in accounting before. Can I start with CA and become a chartered accountant? Do I need to get another accounting bachelor degree?
So sorry, just to make sure, it's a case that you've got a bachelor's degree already. Do I need to go through and have another bachelor's degree to start the CA program? Is that correct?
No, the bachelor is non-accounting bachelor degree.
Okay. So when someone sort of joins us with a non-accounting bachelor's degree, our admissions team, we look to review your university transcript. And we'll go, okay, have you got the core basic requirements for accounting? So be it financial accounting, some management accounting, some other quantitative techniques. If you don't have that, then we run a program called the CA Foundations program. And this is delivered online. So if you don't have that bachelor's in accounting, then there's like 13 different subject areas that you can complete. And that will sort of allow you to sort of come through and build your knowledge to be equivalent to that of what you would have learned through an accounting bachelor's degree. So you go through that foundations program, which could take you about 1 year to go through. And then from doing that, that's when you'll go on to the actual CA program afterwards.
All right. So the answer is yes. You can, with probably taking extra accounting related subjects if you haven't done so in your university, in your bachelor degree. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. There's that route there, that foundations program. I'll put the link in the chat in a moment to that as well.
Okay. Right. I'm not sure. I think Josh mentioned a little bit, but will you be able to mention more details? The CA program, which how many subjects did you need to pass? Estimate for a part-time learner, full-time worker, how long would it take, right, to complete the CA program?
Sure. So I can take this one if you want. So the new CA program comprises of the 7 core subjects and 2 electives. Each core subject, so you start with the core of ethics and business, which takes only 2 weeks to complete. The other core subjects take 8 weeks to complete with 1 week of assessment. As I mentioned, there are subjects are now offered per term. So there are 4 terms throughout the year, and subjects are offered on a per term basis. So depending on how each subject takes roughly, 1 term, we suggest doing 1 subject per term. So roughly 8 weeks for 1 subject per term. You can study more than 1 subject at a time. We don't recommend doing that because you should try and devote a good amount of resources and studying to it. So we recommend 1 subject per term. The elective subjects take 6 weeks to complete with 1 week of assessment as well. So the academic component should take you around 2 years to complete. However, in order to become a full CA member, you need to have completed those 3 years of mentored practical experience.
Okay, can you explain more about 3 years mentor experience? What kind of jobs or position or firm? Is it necessary to be in an accounting firm only, or it can be, any other organization Yeah.
So the CA mentor has to be an approved CA mentor. We recommend that it is someone within the organization that you're at. It doesn't have to be, so it can be someone externally. However, we do recommend for it to be someone within your organization. The mentored practical experience, so the relationship you have with your mentor, very much is influenced by how well you want to take it. So we recommend meeting up once about a month or so to really try and enhance that relationship. If you wanted to meet more often, you could, but it is obviously a very key component of the process. And yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, thank you, Joshua. Annie, I want to go back with you. All right, now, in your opinion, do you think you achieve what you are today without the CA degree or CA membership?
I think I wouldn't be where I am without the CAs, because like what I mentioned previously, I think a lot of roles out there, and including the roles that I have applied to in the current firm that I'm working for, it has actually explicitly requested for someone with a CA program. So definitely, I agree that having this really opened up a lot of different doors for you. And also, if you are looking for opportunities overseas, like let's say in the UK, somewhere in Europe to work, having a CA degree really helps you to kind of stand out and kind of meet the the essentials requirements of a firm when applying to different locations.
Okay, thank you, Annie. Now, another question. Beside all the technical knowledge and skill, right? What soft skill or other skill you think the CA program bring to you?
Apart from that, so I think networking skills is one that you kind of grow on you, especially the more events that you attend. So the more network that you attend, and then also it kind of really so like I mentioned before, you get opportunities to speak to someone who's like partners, CFO, various directors, in organizations, people that you don't normally get opportunities to speak for. So, and that really helped you with basically going out and network with other people in the industry as well. And secondly, is actually having that critical mindset. So the way that I really like the way that CA program kind of structure and work, and the way that they kind of ask the questions. So it really helps you and prompts you to think about something. It's not, studying and memorizing the workbook itself. So it's really gets you to have a think about it and coming up with the solutions that that is the most appropriate for the situation. So yeah, those two skill sets are something that I really enjoy.
Okay, thank you, Annie. Networking, excellent. Right now, can you remind us again, when did you start your CA program? When you finished? How long did it take you? And during that time, what did you do?
I started in roughly about 2017, or 2018, or early 2018. And so the program took me about, I believe it's like a year and a half to complete the courses itself. And then, of course, another 1.5 years later to complete the placement program. So I started during work. So having the benefit of actually being in it before is that there are a lot of support, like I mentioned previously, that has given to people who are actually undertaking CA. So these kind of support includes things such as study leave. So you do get, from memory, you get 3 days of leave prior to your exam. And then you also get other support such as masterclass that you don't have to register. You don't have to you do have to register to, but it's just provided and it's there for you to take advantage of. And those masterclass are actually very, very helpful because the facilitator kind of take us through the questions and explaining how we should approach it rather than actually, just studying off the book. They show you the method of how to apply and how to solve a problem or questions that the course has.
Did you do your CA program when you were at BWC, the accounting firm?
I did it while I was working.
Okay, all right. Yeah. There is one question in the chat direct to me. If a person has never worked at a company, can he or she become a chartered accountant? Should they participate in a CA course? They ask, should they participate in a CPA or ACCA course? So I'm not sure. Hang Le, do you want to turn on your mic and then ask the question directly, because I'm not sure why you mentioned about CPA and ACCA course here. Hang? Hi,
Okay.
Hang. Okay, if Hang doesn't ask, so I'll interpret. I guess that what she asked is if the person who has never worked at the company, so probably no working experience or maybe self-employed, right? Can he or she become a chartered accountant? And what course do he or she need to participate to become a CA, a chartered accountant? Hang confirm if I ask. Yeah, she said yes. Right. So she said that, I asked the correct question. Yeah. Anthony or Joshua, either of you?
Oh yeah, no, happy to answer that one on there. The answer is there are two parts of the CA program. There's the academic part, and that academic part you can start without being in employment. So if you don't have any work experience, you can start that post your graduation. But you do need to get that practical experience, and that's to have that practical experience with that confinement or whilst you're doing the academics. So if you don't have any
Sorry, you just cut out there for a bit. Sorry, do you want to just make, I don't know if it was just for me, but do you want to maybe just repeat? Sorry.
Oh, Josh, you can go for it. You know the answers anyway.
So with the the academic component, you can start completing.
You go cut out. Sorry.
That's all right. So with the academic component, you can start completing the academic subjects whilst not in employment. However, you will need to complete the mentored practical experience with a relevant and supervised and a certified CA mentor. So if you are sort of wanting to do it on your own, you can start the program, you can start the academic component outside of employment, but you will need to, in order to get that 3 years MPE, you will need to be in employment in order to become a full member.
Okay, thank you, Joshua. So the answer is yes, Hang. All right, for the program, but you need to be qualified, a full CA member. You need to pass a 3-year mentoring services, mentoring experience, and that requires your working experience. Yeah, right. Now, Annie, I would like to ask you, this is the question that I always hear from my student, all right? My student always ask, can they get, other than chartered accountant degree or membership if they want to work for Big Four accounting firm in Australia? So is there any more favorable for CA or it's not?
Wait, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay. I mean, some student ask me, the rumor says CPA Australia is easier than CA to obtain. That's the rumor. I don't know. Okay. I did right. So therefore, some students may think that they choose to pursue the CPA Australia or another one, and then they asking, will they have an equivalent job opportunity with Big Four accounting firm in Australia?
Okay. Yep. So I know that Big Four in Australia, they have been, so I think Josh and Anthony can speak for this as well. So they had a lot of close relations with CA Australia. As you can see, that probably one of the example that we had on the slide just now, that is one of a partner that I used to work with. So his name is Mark. So I know that there's a lot of encouragement for people who are working in a Big Four to actually take on a CA program rather than a CPA. It's very rare that I haven't seen any sort of promotional associations between Big Four and CPA just yet. I'm just purely speaking from my experience. So I would say yes, there is, but you still could have the same opportunity. However, I think CA it's a lot more recognizable as compared to CPA. I know CPA, it's the way that the structure and the course's structure is actually very, very different. So it's not apple to apple, it's a little bit of apple to oranges. But I think from speaking from the industry perspective and what the employers are after, I would highly recommend CA as a course to take. And I had friends who a former colleague of mine who had done CPA in the US, and when she came over, I think there are certain conditions that she actually need to redo a little bit to be like a CA equivalent in Australia. So it does have a little bit of barriers. Like I said, it's a little bit of apple to orange. It's not a one-to-one conversion. So you could have a little bit of barriers depending on where you do your CPA program as well. I might be wrong, so please don't quote me on that, but that's all what I'm sharing today is speaking from experience. And then also additionally, I think depending on where you are or where you've done the other courses as well. So for example, from what I know, in order to be like a partner who can sign off a financial statement in Australia, you need to be a CA ANZ in order to sign it off. Otherwise, you would need to either redo the course, take on additional course, or in order to sign up something within Australia itself. So really depending on where you want to go, what's your career goal, and you can choose the most appropriate course for yourself.
Okay, thank you, Annie. So Joshua and Anthony, can you please confirm you need to have the CANZ to be able to sign the audit report in Australia? So with CBA Australia, you're unable to sign?
Correct. So if you're looking through to sign off a financial audit, you do need to be a CA. I think going to the point that Annie mentioned there as well, if you are looking to work in a one of the sort of practice accounting firms in Australia, then if you were to go for a Big Four and join as a graduate, you'll be going through the CA program. And as Annie mentioned there, it's about looking through the components of both the CPA program and the CA program to see what best suits you. So let's say you enjoy audit, you enjoy tax, then I might go, okay, the CA program might be more well suited to you if that's your interest. Whereas if you thought I would like to be a financial controller in a commercial organization, then the CPA program might have some great elements in there. So just think about those differences and what best suits you. But I'd say if you were looking to work in a practice accounting firm and work within audit, then being a CA is definitely the opportunity to go forward. But it's also remembering that international aspect. Let's say, for instance, CPA in Canada is affiliated with Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. So that's like a big difference. Different CPA organizations in different countries. Some are actually more associated with Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand than they are with CPA Australia. And you'll see that in the components of their course as well.
Okay. Thank you.
I understand we don't have long left. So I think just as like a last question, if it's all right, Annie, what would sort of be one key takeaway that you could provide that you've gotten from your career so far and that you could give to the students that are hoping to join the industry in the next few years? What would one key takeaway be?
I guess being very open with any learning opportunities that you get as you go. So like I said, I kind of started the CA journey. I take it as a learning opportunity for me because it really helped to reinforce the knowledge that you might have learned from uni and really reinforce it and apply it to a more industrial focused aspect rather than doing because a lot of the times you learn stuff in uni and it's a little bit textbook basis, whereas CA really helps you to kind of refocus and really apply it to the industry and in practice as well. Another key takeaway is actually to be very open and to any futures, like analytics or coding or anything that comes up in your way, be open to it and actually learn about it and endorse it, because you never know. How I landed the future role and how I'm progressing in my career is actually to have a very diverse skill set. So that's accounting backgrounds and also learning how to read the numbers and applying and modeling, data modeling. So everything pulling together really helped me to kind of stand out and become a very unique individual. And so being a unique individual, you really help yourself to kind of stand out in an organization, because there will be demand and needs for your skill set. And yeah, just learning as much as you can, applying everything together, and surely that will help you with your future career.
Well, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate your time today, and it was just so great to get awesome insights from you, to provide that real first-hand account of what it's like sort of going through the CA, the different types of things you're exposed to, the people you meet, the networking opportunities, the skills you learn, like the breadth of even just discussing now the BA, the data analytics, all those different skills and tools that you gain, not from the CA, but also throughout the industry. It just is really great to hear, and an awesome way to understand career progression and to see how many avenues and doors really open up with the CA. So I really want to thank you for your time today, Annie. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to join the Zoom for us. Duke, I'll pass on to you.
Okay. I guess that I have the last question for you, Annie. So looking back your career journey, did you wish you start the CA career, the CA program earlier? Or you think that is perfect time that when you start the job and then you do the CA program?
I guess it doesn't really matter when you started. Because I feel like when I started, it was kind of still the very beginning of my career. But having said that, I don't think it really matters when do you start it. It's just a matter of actually, do you think that it will actually help you and aid you in the future career, and is it relevant to what you're after? So I think there's a number of questions that we had throughout the session today of when should we start, how should we start, etc. It is never too late. So really depends on what's your future goal, what's your aspirations. If it aligns to you and you think that it will actually help you with all the progressions going forward, then definitely there's no late or early start at all.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Annie. Joshua, any last advice for the student and academic in Vietnam? Now, I know that, sorry, a few participants here, they're actually academic teacher who is teaching accounting, auditing, and I know a few university in the audience, they're actually offering their ACCA program as part of their degree. So I think, similar like RMIT with CBA Australia, you take the course, but you take the exam with the professional body. And when you start, so what would be your, recommendation or sharing with those academic or program leader in Vietnam?
As in, what would I just put my email in the chat there for anyone that wanted to stay connected and ask any questions. Do you mind I know we are really short pressed for time. So just if you could quickly just summarize, sorry, the question again, because I just didn't get it fully.
No, the question is like for those university who's currently offering the ACCA as their program, what would be, is there a pathway if some student want to choose the CA career or CA degree or CA program?
As in instead of the ACCA or after doing the ACCA, or?
I'm not sure, instead or both, right?
Then again, it's up to the student to decide which professional body or which program they want to go down. As I mentioned during the discussion, there is that transferable membership if they are an ACCA and they want to transfer the membership over to a CA. So I guess it's ultimately up to the person doing the program to decide which path they want to go down. So so it's up to that individual. I will mention, yeah, so I put my email there in the chat. If anyone wants to stay connected and ask any questions about CA, anyone want more information, there's also the student affiliates link, which my colleague Anthony put in the chat there as well, which is that free membership, which for those that have joined late, being a student affiliate is free membership where you stay up to date with what's happening with Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. So you can just follow the link there and get monthly updates with what's going on in the industry. But if anyone would want to stay connected, feel free to add me on LinkedIn, send me a message, you can send me an email, and we'd love to stay in touch and to continue the conversation.
Okay, Joshua, just to make it clear for everyone, the audience. So the CANZ program and the ACCA program, is it closer or similar? I know before we said, Annie said that is CPA Australia and CANZ is like orange to apple. But how about the ACCA and CANZ? Is it like orange to mandarin? Is it more closer or not?
AT, do you want to potentially answer that one? I'm not 100% sure in regards to that.
Is it, so my question, to be clear?
No,
is it,
I understand the question, just that I'm not 100% sure on the answer, but Anthony might be able to know a bit better than me.
I'm so sorry, I just went through a bit of bad reception there, so I just missed. I caught bits and bobs of the question. If you could just repeat it, and I'm happy to respond.
Okay, my question is the ACCA program, which is very popular in Vietnam, and many universities are offering. Are they close? Are they closer to the CANZ program because they are on the CA program? Or they still very significant different?
There are some differences in there, but they will be absolutely through that International Pathways program, and that Strategic Alliance allows that conversion over to CA post completion of the ACCA and a few years of membership. So that's the key piece is you can convert, but you will need to show some of that technical expertise through practice post the program. And absolutely within this organization, it might mean when you are working within Australia that you might be restricted at the start if you haven't converted in terms of what type of work you can do. But once you hit that relevant time piece and with your ACCA membership, you'll be able to convert across to CA. So absolutely fine to go and proceed with that. That's what Strategic Alliance allows for that conversion.
Yeah. So sorry, I want to super clear. So if you have CPA Australia membership, you can convert to CANZ or cannot?
Again, if you have CPA, you can convert over. It just might be, yes, you can.
Okay. And then, but if you have ACCA that you do in Vietnam, right? You never done, you didn't go to UK, didn't have UK.
There's still the opportunity to convert. Yes.
You have opportunity to convert.
Yes.
Okay. And do they have to like take the course again or just take?
There might be a couple modules.
Yeah.
There just might be, it's all by individual circumstances. So there might be a case that you'll be asked to, let's say, undertake Australian tax regulations, for instance, on there. So it's all on an individual basis. There might be just a few modules that you'll need to undertake.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, I look at the time. I know that everyone is busy. So I would really highly appreciate all your valuable time and your thoughtful sharing with us today. All right. Thank you. And to all the over 40 participants still in the Zoom, if you still have any more questions, please feel free to send to me, and then I will connect you with our 3 friends here. Or if you may just type in their name, you will see their LinkedIn profile. So we have Joshua Jones, Anthony Taiki, and Annie Mai. You just put their name in LinkedIn, you will see their LinkedIn profile, right? So networking skill, right? Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Charles. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Anthony. All right. All the best. And hopefully we see you again in another event of Knowledge Bridge Network.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Very much enjoyed chatting with all of you today. And if yeah, just to follow on, if anyone really does have any questions, I've got my email there in the chat. You can add me on LinkedIn, and look forward to keeping in touch. So thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.